You're listening to Bark and Wag's 15-Minute Vet Talk. Each week, your host, Polly Requa, interviews veterinarians and individuals in the pet industry from across the nation answering pet questions. Bark and Wag podcast is produced weekly for your enjoyment, and show notes can be found at barkandwag.com under the podcast tab. That's BARKNWAG.com. Please remember to subscribe to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk.
Thank you for listening to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk. Bark and Wag is dedicated to protecting our dogs through advocacy, education, and supporting like-minded dog lovers by selling custom pet products. Bark and Wag is excited to announce our new partnership with a Colorado hemp farm to produce a line of CBD products for your pets. Bark and Wag has CBD pet tincture available in 300, 750, 1200, and 2400 milligrams. Bark and Wag CBD is pet safe, no THC, it's made in the USA, and is CO2 extracted. Please check out Bark and Wag's website, barkandwag.com. That is BARK, to see our line of CBD and awesome merchandise. We love pooch ideas for podcasts and merchandise, so anytime send an email to Polly at barkandwag.com with your suggestions.
Welcome to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk. I'm your host, Polly Requa. Today we're talking to Nicole Birkholzer, animal communicator and wellness specialist, as well as an author, speaker, educator, and podcaster. Welcome, Nicole. Thanks for being back on the show.
Oh, so great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, I wanted to have you back to discuss the relationship between animals and human, and almost as if to have a guide by your side.
Yes. So I think the idea or the realization I had came from the horse world, actually, because I, at one point, was the director of a therapeutic horseback riding center. And most people know that horses can be amazingly supportive to help humans physically, emotionally, and even spiritually. And as I dove deeper into that topic, I also realized, my God, our cats and dogs are really doing the same for us too, right? Most of us know, if you have a bellyache, and you have a cat, your cat probably will end up on your belly because the cat picks up on it and says, I'm going to be your little heat bottle here right on your stomach and hope you feel better. But I noticed that our dogs also have this incredible ability to tune into us. And we might think when they nudge us or push us or do something silly to us, or get impatient with us, that they want a treat or that they want to go out. But sometimes they just remind us to actually take a breath and chillax a little. So I have a dog who is, I think he's probably an Aussie setter mix, hardworking dog here on our farm. But he would sometimes, when I would sit too long on my laptop, come and nudge me, and I would be like, Scout, lie down, and he always looked at me like, really? You don't get what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
And, by the time I'm like, lie down, he'll lie down, but do this little, oh God, she's just not smart enough. And eventually one day I said to him, you know what? I got to finish this email. And when I sent this off, then we can do something different. And wouldn't you know, the moment I pushed send, that little cutie pie stood in front of me, wagging his tail, nudging me again. And I'm like, how did you know? And I got up and, we went for a walk. And ever since, I am noticing how much our animals really are looking to help us be more at ease, help us, and not just as a guide animal. We could say, oh yeah, that's what guiding dogs are for or whatnot. No, this is when more interactive, them coming towards us and saying, a cat sitting on your laptop saying, you have not taken a deep breath in 3 hours while you're on the Zoom call. I'm going to plop myself right in front of you so you get so annoyed that you go, and then you took a deep breath because your body is so out of connection, because you spend too much time in your mind. So I think our animals have so much to share about how we could live a more connected life, body, mind, and spirit, more at ease. And that usually leads to wellness. So that's kind of where a lot of my clients are coming around now and saying, like, you know what, my animal really wants to be my guide and I want to learn more about that.
So when you're working with clients across the United States, how do you teach the humans how to read their dog?
So, I think there are two different clients. Some are simply like, Nicole, can you help me understand what's going on? I want some answers 1 through 5. And we can do that and provide that information. I love the clients who say, like what you just said, Polly, how can I connect with him? What can I do? And I usually tell people 2 things. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, because we are so much out and about and distracted by things, and we totally disconnect from our body, which is a wonderful, actually, instrument of telling us what's going on in our life. And so when you take 2 and even 3 breaths, you shift your whole chemistry, your brain chemistry in your whole body. And all of a sudden, you're present in the moment where your animal is. And if your animal is asking for something or nudging you or doing something, staring at you, you can simply sit there and say, what are you doing? Or tell me what this is all about. And then watch. Like, for example, cats often, when they look at you, or they meow, 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 stand in front of you, and you say, show me what you need. They often look at you, go, really? Do you mean this? And then you say it again, and you're like, yeah, show me. What do you need? And they will start walking off and all of a sudden heading into, the room where their food is and jump on the food bowl. And you might think, oh my God, do you not have food? And the food bowl is full. And you realize, no, he just wanted company while he was eating. Or, your cat lies on the laptop and you're like, okay, maybe I need to take a break. Or your dog nudges you, or your dog barks in front of you. I had a client whose dog constantly barked when she got on the phone with healthcare providers. And she called me. She's like, he's driving me crazy. I can't get to a phone call. And the dog goes, every time she's on these phone calls, she's so stressed. I just tell her, breathe, breathe, breathe. And, this was a really challenging phone call for her. It was about her parents and, them getting older. The dog was just looking out for her, saying, you need to take better care of you because you are a detriment to yourself and our family by not breathing. Because to animals, survival is everything. We don't think about it that way, but to animals, that's a big deal. And so they look out for us that we live life that is more relaxed and less arousal of the nervous system, fight, flight, but more rest and relaxation, because that's where they want to live.
Interesting. I'm sure you have a lot of situations like that, especially with everyone being stressed of just what's going on with the economy and socially. And so I'm sure a lot of dogs are stressed because their owners are stressed.
Absolutely. And you can definitely feel that because, sometimes also the dog's routine just gets totally changed due to that. And, when I had a situation where a dog was always, in the morning, going out with the owner, taking care of the chickens, doing everything the way they did every morning, and the dog was one of those very, like a work dog who really needed a purpose on the land to do something, because most dogs are bred to have a purpose and we often don't give them a purpose. And then when the pandemic happened and the woman stayed home and took, and she reshaped her day, and the kid next door took care of the chickens, all of a sudden the dog started to bark at everything and carried socks around the house and was showing all these anxious behaviors. And we had to realize that we needed to reestablish a routine so that the dog felt purposeful in her life. So, we often don't think about how these animals are so trained or through their lineage actually bred to have a job. And when we don't give them a job, they show us these unexpected behaviors that often stress us. So I am always big on give your dog something to think about. Yes, you can take them for walks, but if you make them think, you tire them out much quicker than just taking them on long walks. And that's what every dog will tell me. Give me something to do with my mind. That's important.
Yeah, so our lab is always on. You make one move to walk to the kitchen and she's watching you, where the pug snoring on the couch. That is his job, to sleep.
Usually pugs or Frenchies tell me, when we talk about what they're doing, they're like, "Oh, I'm just here to entertain my people."
Yeah.
That's usually the way. And often but I have to say, often they also do a lot of grounding, right? So if one of your dogs is on the job, so to speak, and it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? One thing you can do is the more you speak with them verbally, the more they can wrap their mind around of what it is. A lot of times I know people think with animals, we only talk in commands, right? With dogs, sit, come, heel. With horses, walk, trot, whoa. And they are so much smarter than we give them credit for. And so I speak in full sentences. I don't do the good boy, good boy, good boy. I say, thank you for doing X, or, thank you for sitting so quiet, or thank you for waiting for me, or thank you for helping me out with something. And so I think when you, let's just say, get up and you go in the kitchen, you're like, all right, I'm getting a glass of water. You can stay right here. Or just getting a glass of water. I bet your dog would already be like, okay, because I feel your dog is always like, where's she going? Do we want to go out? Do we need to get in the car? What do we need to do? And if you just tell the dog, this is what I'm doing, you can chill. They often also, go like, oh, okay, and fall over sideways again and lay flat on the floor. Our voice is, I think, the most powerful and most underutilized tool we have.
Yeah, at my house, it's, are you walking to the refrigerator?
Yes, exactly. Okay, yeah.
Am I gonna get some food?
Yeah. Are you just getting a glass of water, or are you actually getting some turkey?
Yes. Yeah. So how do people get a hold of you?
So the easiest is just go to my website, mindful-connections with an S at the end.com. And, there is lots of information. I have a podcast people can click on and listen to me for a little bit. There are some blogs where you learn a little about me. And then there is the book a session page, and you can book just a 15-minute free meet and greet where we just chat a little bit together and see if we're a good match and if your animal wants to join in. And otherwise, you can just book a session for 45 minutes. And we usually split it into 15 minutes. The animal just walks up to the microphone, I call it, or gets on stage and tells us what they want to say. And then for the last half hour, we talk about any of the questions you have.
Great. Well, thank you for being on the podcast today. And we look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much, Polly. And if you're curious about chatting with your animal, head over to my website to get $50 off on your first phone session. And the discount code is BarkNWAG, BARKNWAG.
Wow, that's terrific. So that's $50 off, and put in the promo code BARKNWAG. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to BarkNWAG's 15-Minute Vet Talk. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our web address, www.barknwag.com, to your friends and other pet owners. Have a pressing question for a veterinarian? Ask your question at barknwag.com under the podcast tab. This has been a KFR production. Join us next time for another edition of BarkNWAG's 15-Minute Vet Talk.